On the edge of the galaxy, a large neutral space station floated in silent orbit. It was a place where many alien species met for trade, peace talks, and secret deals. Today, however, the station felt different. A strange tension filled the air, as if something unseen was pressing on every mind. Guards stood along the wide metal corridors, their hands tight on their weapons. They were armed with plasma rifles, shock blades, and energy shields. Yet none of that made them feel safe today. Every guard whispered to another guard, trying to hide the fear in their voices. "The humans are coming," one guard said softly. "Unarmed again," another replied, shaking a little. The word human moved through the station like a cold wind. Aliens of different sizes and shapes stopped talking and looked at the main landing bay. Some had scales, some had shining armor skin, some had more than 2 eyes. But every species knew humans were strange. They were not the strongest, not the fastest, not the biggest, not the smartest, but they were the most unpredictable, and when they arrived unarmed, that was when the real fear began. A deep alarm tone echoed across the station, announcing the arrival of a new ship. The large metal doors of the landing bay opened slowly. Steam hissed out, lights flashed red, then a small human diplomatic ship entered the bay. It was quiet, too quiet for a ship carrying diplomats. The alien commander on duty swallowed nervously. His claws tapped against the control panel. "Scan the human ship," he ordered. "We did," his officer replied, eyes wide. "We found something unusual." "What kind of unusual?" "There is an energy reading inside the ship that we cannot explain." "What kind of energy?" "That is the problem, Commander. It does not match any known form." The commander felt a chill run down his spine. He had heard stories, old stories, about human diplomats, stories where humans walked into wars with empty hands and walked out with entire armies surrendering, stories where strange energy followed humans like a shadow. He never believed these stories, until now. The human ship touched the ground with a soft metallic sound. The door opened with slow confidence, and out stepped Ambassador Reed, a tall man with calm eyes and empty hands. He wore no armor, no gun, not even a protective shield, just simple human clothing. But the moment he stepped out, every alien felt something heavy push at their chest, like the air itself grew thicker. Behind Reed stepped another human, a woman named Mara. She was quiet, her face calm, but her presence alone made some guards look away. Even without weapons, she felt dangerous in a way no machine could measure. The commander forced himself to take a step forward. "Welcome, Ambassador Reed," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. Reed nodded gently. "Thank you for receiving us," he said. His voice was soft, but it carried through the entire bay. The aliens around him felt a strange pressure inside their minds, as if his voice touched something deeper than hearing. One young alien soldier tried to stand tall, but his legs shook. He suddenly fell to one knee, gasping for breath. Reed turned his head and looked at him with simple concern. "Are you all right?" The soldier felt as if Reed could see inside him, not just his body but his thoughts. He nodded quickly and crawled back into the line, avoiding Reed's eyes. No weapon, no force, no aggression. Yet every alien felt fear rising inside their heart. The commander cleared his throat. We expected your ship to be larger." Reed gave a small smile. Humans prefer to travel light. "Without weapons?" the commander asked quietly. Reed glanced at Mara, who gave a slight nod. "Weapons are not always needed," Reed answered. The commander did not understand the meaning, but he felt something dangerous behind those simple words. The aliens guided the humans through the long hallway. The lights above flickered slightly as they passed. Some machines made strange beeping sounds, reacting to something they could not identify. It felt as if the station itself sensed the arrival of something powerful, something old, something hidden. Other alien diplomats stood waiting near the meeting hall. They watched the humans with wide, fearful eyes. Some whispered rapid prayers to their gods, some stepped back, and some tried to hide behind others. One diplomat, a tall creature with silver skin, leaned to his partner and whispered, "They come with empty hands, but the whole galaxy fears them." His partner replied, "That is because no one knows what humans carry inside them." As Reed and Mara walked through the hall, every alien felt the same thing, an invisible force following them. It was not a weapon, not a machine, not a threat spoken aloud. It was something deeper, something that reached into the soul. The doors of the main chamber opened slowly. A cold wind moved across the room even though there was no wind inside the station. The lights dimmed for a moment, then brightened again. Reed stepped forward without fear, Mara behind him like a silent shadow. Every alien in that room carried weapons today. Every alien was ready for battle. But when Reed entered unarmed, the entire hall fell silent. And in that silence, a single truth became clear. Only the unarmed human made them afraid. The meeting hall was silent as Ambassador Reed and Mara took their seats. The aliens sat far away from them, keeping a careful distance even though the humans carried no weapons. It was strange, almost unnatural, to see so many powerful species afraid of two unarmed humans. But the fear was real, so real that some diplomats could barely breathe. At the side of the hall, two alien soldiers whispered urgently. "Do you feel it?" one asked. "Yes," the other replied. "It is like they bring a storm with them, but the storm is inside their bodies." Reed sat calmly, folding his hands on the table. His eyes moved from one alien face to another, studying them. The aliens felt as if he was reading their souls, not just their expressions. Mara remained silent, her gaze fixed on the floor, yet every diplomat avoided looking at her directly. They felt something sharp behind her stillness, something that made their hearts beat too fast. The meeting had not even begun, but the air was already thick with fear. A tall alien diplomat with crystal skin finally spoke. "Ambassador Reed, your people arrive without weapons, without guards, without armor." He swallowed nervously. "Why? What do humans hide?" Reed smiled gently. "Humans hide nothing," he said. "We simply trust diplomacy." But the aliens felt a quiet tremble inside their minds when he said it. They knew he was not lying, but they also knew he was not telling everything. At the edge of the room, three young alien cadets watched the humans closely. One of them whispered, "I heard humans can control fear." "No," said the second. "My teacher told me humans have some kind of invisible weapon." The third shook his head. "That is wrong, they are the weapon." Their voices dropped instantly as Mara lifted her head slightly. The air around them vibrated softly, like a warning. They froze in place until she looked away. Rumors had always followed humans. Some said humanity came from a planet where survival shaped them into something dangerous. Others believed humans had a strange power in their minds. Some claimed humans carried ancient energy that no scanner could detect. But no one knew the truth. The alien commander stepped forward with shaking claws. "We must ask again," he said slowly. "Why do humans come unarmed? This is not normal for any species." Reed leaned back slightly. "We carry trust," he said softly, "and sometimes trust is stronger than any weapon." The aliens felt his words entering them like a warm wind that somehow made them cold inside. Suddenly, a hologram flickered on the wall, old images from a past conflict. It showed humans in a war zone, surrounded by alien armies. They were unarmed then too. Yet the enemy surrendered without firing a single shot. The hall grew quiet again. An old alien diplomat whispered, "Your species ended that war with no weapons, no ships, and no fire." He looked at Reed with deep fear. "How?" Reed did not answer. Instead, he looked at Mara, and she gave him the smallest nod. Before he could speak, something strange happened. The lights above flickered once. Then twice. Then a strong wave of pressure moved through the hall. Every alien gasped, holding their heads. Their hearts raced, their vision blurred. Some fell to their knees. Some clutched their chests. Some tried to stand firm but shook violently. Reed and Mara did not move at all. They sat calmly while chaos swirled around them. The pressure vanished as quickly as it arrived, leaving the room cold and silent. A terrified diplomat shouted, "What was that?" Reed answered in a calm voice, "Fear." The aliens looked at each other with shock. Fear. That wave felt like something much more powerful, something much older. Mara finally spoke, her voice soft but echoing across the hall like a whisper inside the mind. "Your station is safe," she said, "but there are things near this place, watching." Aliens shivered at her words. A young alien soldier took a hesitant step forward. I tried to look into the human woman's eyes," he said, trembling. "But when I did, I felt something watching me from inside my own mind." Reed turned toward him. "Humans do not wish to harm anyone," he said softly. "But sometimes, the things inside us respond when we are judged or feared." This only added more confusion, more fear, more mystery. "What things?" an alien asked sharply. What lives inside humans? Reed and Mara exchanged a quiet glance. They did not answer. The silence that followed was heavier than any words they could speak. Another diplomat leaned forward and whispered, "Is it true that humans carry an ancient force? Something from before the stars?" No answer came, but the flickering lights and shifting shadows seemed to speak for the humans. The aliens realized something terrifying. Humans did not hide their power. They simply refused to use it. Outside the hall, the station sensors began beeping again, detecting the same strange energy inside the human ship, but now the readings were stronger, more unstable. Something was building. Something was waking. And the humans remained calm. Too calm. As if they had always known this moment would come. The meeting chamber doors closed with a slow, heavy sound. The air inside felt colder now, as if something invisible had settled over the room. Every alien leader took their seats, but their hands stayed near their weapons. Their eyes stayed locked on the two unarmed humans. Ambassador Reed sat calmly, his face quiet and unreadable. Mara stood behind him like a silent shadow. She did not speak, did not blink, but every alien could feel her presence pressing against their minds. A deep voice echoed from the far end of the room. "Let us begin," said the Supreme Negotiator, a massive alien with obsidian skin and glowing blue veins. He looked powerful, but even he avoided looking directly at the humans. The negotiator raised a hand. "We are here to discuss peace between our alliances," he said. "Peace," Reed repeated softly. His voice was calm, almost warm, yet it echoed inside every alien's head. Before anyone else could speak, a loud alarm blasted through the station. Red lights filled the hall. The walls vibrated as if something huge had struck the station from outside. The aliens panicked instantly. What was that? "We are under attack. Shields dropping. Identify the threat." The negotiator turned sharply to his officers. "Show us the enemy." A tall holoscreen flickered to life, revealing a massive warship outside the station. Its surface was black like burnt metal, its shape sharp and unnatural. No known species used designs like this. A chill spread through the room. An officer whispered, "That is not one of ours. That ship is unknown." The warship sent out a communication signal. Static crackled through the speakers, followed by a low, rumbling voice. "Deliver the humans to us," the voice said. "If you refuse, your station will fall." The entire room filled with shock. Aliens turned to Reed and Mara instantly. Why would an unknown enemy want the humans? Why demand unarmed diplomats? Reed did not react. He did not even blink. Mara closed her eyes slowly, as if she already knew this moment was coming. The negotiator took a step back. "Ambassador Reed, do you know this enemy?" Reed gave a small, quiet nod. "In a way," he said. "They fear us." The aliens trembled at those words. If a ship that size feared humans, then what were humans truly? Outside, the enemy ship fired a bright beam of energy. It struck the station's shields, sending a shockwave through the halls. Aliens stumbled, tables shook, lights flickered violently. The negotiator shouted, "We must fight back." But Reed lifted a single hand. "No," he said, "weapons will not help you today." The negotiator stared at him in confusion. "Then what will?" Reed turned his eyes toward the flickering lights above. "Understanding," he said softly. "But you do not understand yet." The enemy ship charged another blast, stronger than the first. Alarms screamed, metal groaned, a deep vibration shook the entire chamber. Panic took over. Aliens drew their weapons, aiming them at the ceiling as if they could somehow stop the attack. Mara finally opened her eyes. In that moment, the entire room fell silent. Her eyes did not glow, did not shine, but something inside them made every alien freeze. It felt like she was staring straight into their memories, their fears, their hidden pain. A young alien soldier dropped his weapon. "I cannot breathe," he whispered. "It feels like something is looking inside me." Mara stepped forward quietly. "Do not fear," she said. "But do not lie to yourselves." Outside, the enemy warship fired its second blast. The shields cracked like glass. Blue sparks flew across the monitors. The station shook violently, panels fell from the ceiling, walls bent under the force. The negotiator shouted, "We cannot survive another attack." Reed stood up slowly. "You will not need to," he said. He walked to the center of the room, every alien watching him with wide, terrified eyes. Mara followed, the pressure in the room becoming almost unbearable. Reed spoke softly. "They came for us, because they know humans do not carry weapons." He paused. "They know humans are something else." Another alarm rang. The enemy ship charged a final blast, enough to destroy the entire station. Before anyone could react, the lights went out. Total darkness filled the chamber. Only the sound of trembling aliens and the distant hum of the enemy ship remained. Then a faint glow appeared, coming not from machines but from the humans. Reed's shadow stretched unnaturally long across the floor. Mara's outline shimmered with strange energy. The aliens gasped. What is happening to them?" Reed lifted his face slowly. His voice was barely a whisper. "This is why we come unarmed." The enemy fired. The blast reached the station, and the truth behind humans began to awaken. The chamber remained in total darkness, not a single light working inside the room, only the faint glow around the humans gave shape to the space. It was soft at first, like pale moonlight, but it grew brighter with every breath Reed and Mara took. Aliens stared at them with wide eyes, unable to speak, unable to move. Fear held them in place like invisible chains. Outside the station, the enemy warship's final attack raced toward them, a massive beam of red energy cutting through space like a burning storm. It was meant to destroy everything, to leave nothing behind. But before the beam could strike the station, the glow around Reed and Mara changed. It deepened, shifted, and became something alive, something ancient. The walls shook as the strange energy spread across the room. "What is that?" an alien whispered. No one answered. Reed lifted one hand slowly. His eyes were calm, almost sad. "This is the reason we carry no weapons," he said. As he spoke, the red beam outside froze in place. Time itself seemed to stop around it. The blast hung in space like a sculpture made of fire, unmoving, silent. The aliens gasped in horror and awe. How is the attack frozen?" someone whispered. Reed looked at Mara, who stepped forward. "It is not frozen," Mara said softly. "It is obeying." The aliens trembled. "Obeying? Obeying who?" Mara raised her hand and made a small gesture. The huge beam outside bent gently away from the station, like a river changing direction. It curved around the station, swirling harmlessly before dissolving into dust. Silence followed, deep and unreal. The enemy ship fired again in panic, but nothing happened. The weapons refused to activate. Their engines failed. Their lights died. Reed turned his gaze outward as if he could see the ship through the walls. "You should not have come here," he whispered. Every alien in the chamber felt a cold shiver crawl up their spine. The supreme negotiator forced himself to speak. "Ambassador Reed, what are humans?" Reed slowly looked back at him. For the first time, his warm expression faded. A shadow crossed his eyes. Something old, something powerful, something not entirely human. "Humans," he said softly, "are survivors." The lights flickered back on for a moment, allowing everyone to see clearly. Mara's silhouette glowed like silver flame. Reed's shadow stretched unnaturally across the floor again, twisting like it had a life of its own. "Long ago," Reed continued, "humanity discovered that our minds can shape more than thoughts." He took a slow breath. "We can shape energy." The aliens pulled back in fear. Impossible. Unbelievable. Yet they just witnessed it. Mara stepped forward, her voice soft but sharp. "Our ancestors survived disaster after disaster. They were forced to evolve in ways other species did not." She looked around the chamber. "Fear became our shield. Pressure became our strength. And the mind became our strongest weapon." An alien whispered in terror. "You come unarmed, because you are weapons." Reed nodded sadly. "Humans carry no guns because we do not need them." The negotiator stared at Reed in disbelief. "Why hide this? Why not show the galaxy your true power? Reed's eyes softened again. Because power invites fear, he said, and fear invites war. Mara added quietly, if we carried weapons, you would believe we came to conquer. Her voice echoed strangely, as if another voice spoke beneath it. But if we come unarmed, you see our choice. Reed placed his hand on the table. Peace, he said. Humans choose peace first. The chamber grew quiet again. For the first time, the fear around the humans changed. It became respect, or something deeper. But the moment of calm did not last long. A sudden alarm echoed again. The enemy warship was powering something massive, far larger than a normal weapon. The sensors showed a growing sphere of dark energy forming at the back of the ship. Something unnatural, something forbidden. The negotiator shouted, "That energy, it can destroy half the station." Reed closed his eyes. They are desperate now. They know they cannot defeat us. Mara took one step forward, her voice a whisper and a warning. If they release that energy, the galaxy will feel it. Reed lifted his head slowly. We cannot allow that. A dark vibration filled the room. Lights flickered once more. The air thickened like a storm about to break. The aliens looked between Reed and Mara in terror. What will you do? Can you stop that weapon? What is happening to your bodies? Reed looked calm, but the glow around him grew brighter. Mara's eyes shifted, reflecting something ancient and cosmic. Reed whispered, "This is the truth you must understand. Humans do not want violence. But when forced..." The floor trembled beneath their feet. The walls groaned as the station reacted to the rising energy from the humans. Mara finished his sentence in a quiet, chilling voice. "We do not lose." Outside, the enemy ship prepared to fire. Inside, humanity's hidden power continued to awaken. Outside the space station, the enemy warship glowed with dark energy. The sphere at its center grew larger, pulsing like a living heart. The weapon inside it was not meant for war. It was meant for destruction, pure and absolute. Inside the meeting chamber, Reed and Mara stood with calm faces while every alien around them trembled in fear. They watched the energy readings rising on the holoscreen. The number climbed and climbed until one alien diplomat whispered, "If that weapon fires, we all die." Another diplomat turned to Reed with desperate eyes. "Please, tell us you can stop this." Reed did not answer immediately. He looked down at his hands, slowly curling his fingers. "These hands were made for peace," he said softly. "But peace does not always protect us." Mara stepped beside him, her glow brighter than ever. Her voice was almost gentle. "Humanity believes in diplomacy first." She paused as the lights flickered. "But when the universe refuses peace, humans reveal what they truly are." The station groaned as another shockwave hit. Dust fell from the ceiling. Panels rattled on the walls. Fear grew so strong that even the negotiator fell to his knees. "What are you?" he gasped. "Where does this power come from?" Reed looked at him, not with anger, not with pride, but with something deeper, sad understanding. "You fear us because you do not understand us," he said. "You fear the unknown, the invisible, the part of humans we never speak about." The dark energy outside intensified, ready to explode. The enemy ship announced one final message. "Hand over the humans or fall with them." Mara turned toward the chamber doors. Her shadow stretched across the floor like smoke. "We will not let you fall," she said quietly. The negotiator stared at her in disbelief. "Why protect us? We feared you, we doubted you." Reed placed a hand gently on the table. "Harmony can only begin when fear ends," he replied. "But today, fear must end in a different way." He lifted his head as the glow around him surged. The floor vibrated beneath his feet. The temperature in the room dropped sharply. Everyone could see their breath in the air. The energy around the humans became visible, shimmering waves of light, like gravity bending in impossible shapes. Reed whispered, "Mara." She nodded. Together they stepped toward the center of the room. The lights flickered violently. The walls trembled. Even the space around them seemed to twist. Aliens backed away as the humans glowed brighter and brighter. Some covered their faces. Some cried out in fear. Some stared in awe, knowing they were witnessing something no one had ever survived to see. Reed raised his hand. A thin beam of pure white energy shot from his palm toward the ceiling. It passed through metal, through shields, through space itself, heading straight for the enemy ship. The enemy weapon fired at the same time. A massive sphere of dark energy rushed toward the station. The two forces collided in open space. Light and darkness twisting around each other, crashing, screaming, tearing through reality. Then everything went silent. Painfully silent. A wave of white light exploded outward. It washed over the station like a warm wind. Gently, softly, almost lovingly. The dark energy vanished. The enemy ship halted mid-attack, frozen like a dead star. Then it began to crumble, piece by piece. Not destroyed, just emptied. As if something inside it had been taken away. The aliens watched in shock. Their weapons fell to the floor, forgotten. Reed lowered his hand slowly. The glow around him dimmed. Mara stepped closer, steadying him. The negotiator spoke with shaking breath. "You saved us." Reed nodded, tired but calm. "Humans protect peace," he said. "Even when others do not trust us." One alien took a careful step forward. "So, this is why humans arrive unarmed." Mara answered, her voice soft. "Yes. When we carry no weapons, we show our true choice, peace." She paused, her eyes calm and deep. "And when danger comes, we show our true nature." Every alien in the chamber bowed their head. Not out of fear, but out of respect. Reed turned toward the exit. "We must leave now," he said. "Our presence has already changed too much." As the humans walked away, the station sensors detected the same strange energy inside their ship again. Only now it felt stronger, older, almost awake. The negotiator whispered, "What are humans truly?" No one answered him. But every being in that hall knew one truth. Humans did not need weapons. Humans did not need armies. Humans did not need power. Because humans were power. And the galaxy finally understood that the most dangerous choice a human could make was to walk into a room unarmed.